Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. There's a lot of fireworks going on right now in my area. So you'll probably hear some booms and bangs in the background, but that's what it's going to be. So tonight I want to talk about a power washer setup that I put together. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a huge movement, I should say, for power washing, car cleaning, car care. I've never really noticed it before. I guess, I don't know, it seems like the coffee scene or the craft beer scene, it kind of just exploded. And there is a ton of stuff on the internet at this point about washing your car, what tools you can use, what brushes, what chemicals, the whole thing. But I specifically just wanted something a little bit better than the hose to wash or to spray the car off, as well as soap the car. And there's tons of different foam guns, there's tons of different power washers at this point. But I just want to talk through the setup that I use, as well as the gun and everything that I just purchased and the fittings that you need to buy to go with it, because that is the one thing that I've noticed that doesn't seem to be readily available. And if the information that's out there, I don't think a lot of people disclose what the fittings are and thread pitches and that sort of thing, because that's their intellectual property. They've kind of figured that out, and that's how they sell you the products they sell you. So for this particular video, it's going to be about the Greenworks power washer system. It's rather cheap. I mean, it's electric. It's nothing crazy, and so far it's worked pretty well for me. I'll show you in a second what it looks like, but it's the 2000 PSI setup. I bought it from Lowe's. It was probably like $180 or something like that on sale. Normally I think it's like $2 something, but relatively inexpensive electric power washer. So far it's worked well for me, like I said, but I did want a little bit better nozzle type system, and quick disconnect fittings. So I also put all that together. So I'll go through the different fittings, the power washer, the nozzles and stuff, what comes with it and what I changed it over to, so that way I can have a foam can and all that other fun stuff on there, and not have this long assembly of fittings and wash equipment. So we'll get into that in a second. So the first thing is the power washer. So this is what I just spoke about. I got this from Lowe's. It's the Greenworks 2000 PSI 1.2 gallon per minute power washer. It comes with a little fluid tank. You can put your soap or whatever in there. Before I had the foam cannon, I used to use that. I used to dilute some Meguiar's soap and then just spray it with one of the attachments that they provide, and then it just kind of bubbles soap all over. It's not like foamy. It doesn't really stay on the car. It's more water than it is anything. But anyway, that's the initial pressure washer. Okay, now on to the hose connections and different fittings that you will need to transform your Greenworks power washing gun, as well as the second option, which is the Shorty power wash gun by MTM. That's the SG28. So first things first, when you buy the gun or buy the power washer from Lowe's, you get this gun assembly here, and you get this extension which is screwed into the gun itself. So before I got the short gun, I ended up trying to make the OEM original equipment with the Greenworks pressure washer just a little bit shorter. So I unscrewed the extension, and then I bought a fitting kit, and we'll talk through the fittings that you need to make all this work. And I have little sticky notes here just as a reminder for myself what the fittings were, so I don't get them confused, and then obviously you guys can pause the video and hopefully read my chicken scratch there. Anyway, for the Greenworks power wash gun, if you remove the extension, you're going to need at the end here, which is the outlet pressure side, you're going to need that M22 male thread to a 1/4 inch quick disconnect. So basically, let's see, the inside of the gun looks kind of like that with the threads. So you buy the male section, put it in the end, and you're good to go on the outlet. So that then attaches to these 1/4" male quick disconnect tips, as well as any or most of the foam cannons that I've seen use the 1/4" male quick disconnects as well. So then onto the inlet for the gun, you're going to need an M22-14 millimeter. So what that's in reference to is the 22 millimeter is the actual thread in the inside, and then the 14 millimeter is this little barb connection with the hex and the O-ring on the inside. Apparently there's some pressure washer systems that use a 15, but this Greenworks 2000 psi pressure washer uses a 14 millimeter, and I've already tested this and it doesn't leak, so I know it's the right one. And that's a little sticky there to reference that. So once you have those two fittings in, then you get into connecting it to the actual power washer unit itself. So you come to the hose that comes with it. The hose comes with the females. So if you look at the hose ends, they're going to be something like that. And then you'll do the same thing. Basically you have that M22 thread that goes into that M22-14 fitting. So you're going to need the male version there to a 3/8 quick disconnect on both sides. So then that will enable you to hook the quick disconnect into the bottom, the inlet of the power wash gun itself. And then with the other one that you have installed, you can then hook it up to the outlet of the pump itself. So this one would be an M22-14 female to 3/8 barb quick disconnect. And that's how you would hook up the gun. So then if you're going to now use the shorter gun, which is what I bought for maneuverability and other things, and when I looked online, I couldn't really find the fittings or the fitting sizes and what they should be. So I took a gamble and bought some fittings. Again, this is the MTM SG28. This is the short gun. It's a 4000 psi gun. Plenty for the power washer, considering the power washer is only rated at 2000, so you have a good safety factor. This gun's not going to fail. Nonetheless, the fittings that you're going to need for this. So the inlet for the actual gun, so where your water comes from the pump, you're going to need this 3/8 NPT male fitting, which is the 3/8 NPT male there, and then you're going to need the 3/8 male quick disconnect on the other end. So that's what you need. I'm sure you can get other fittings that go from a male to a female if you did it opposite of what I did, but this seems to be one of the quickest, easiest ways. And then for the outlet of the gun where you would put your tip or your accessories, you're going to need a 1/4" NPT thread male to a female 1/4" quick disconnect. So that will enable you to hook up your tips and any of your spray options that you're going to use. And I don't have it assembled right now with Teflon tape or any of that, just for the sake of making the video. But that's basically the breakdown of both guns and what fittings you're going to need to make the OEM gun shorter, as well as assemble this short gun from MTM. And then the last piece would be if you want to connect your hose assembly to the actual pressure washer, so your inlet to the pump. The kit that I purchased, which was off of Amazon, it was a lot of the brass fittings. Generally you have these hose connections, which everybody's probably familiar with, but the kit comes with 2 sets of these. So you end up with a 3/4 GHT female, which is this thread. So this goes onto your hose end or your spigot on your house. And then it's going to go to a 1/2" female quick disconnect. And then the opposite would be the same here, 3/4 GHT male threads to a 1/2" male quick disconnect. And then what that enables you to do is then hook up your hose to the inlet of the pump system for the pressure washer. So you use a male 3/4 GHT there to that 1/2", and then on the other side of my hose I have the opposite fitting, so I have the female 1/2" quick disconnect to the female 3/4 GHT hose end. So anyway, that's how you all hook it together. If you want to make the gun a little bit shorter, if you want to use the short gun over here, with your foam cannon or whatever else you're going to hook up to it. You can just put the little adapters in there for the different spray patterns as well. You don't have to use anything really. But I figured that would be helpful and give people an opportunity to put their own kits together, as well as kind of mess around, do it yourself, play with the fittings, learn some stuff. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and thanks for watching.